Hey there, wrestling fans. Brian Blitz here, and joining me as always is Craig Young, and welcome to another exciting edition of Superstars the Ring here at ccwrestling.biz. We got a lot to cover, folks, this week, and of course we've got that big match where Skylark takes on Julian Marcs in a huge one-on-one contest. But before we get to the action, Craig, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about an interview you've got coming on later in the show.
We talked about it last week on Superstars of the Ring. We do have a one-on-one interview with Rock and Roll Chris Turner this week, and it is not one you're going to want to miss.
Oh, I'm certainly looking forward to it. I haven't seen it myself, so I'm curious to know what kind of questions you have to ask the legend in that interview.
Just the important ones.
Just the important. Well, Rock and Roll Chris Turner, if there's one thing he does, he sticks to the important topics. All right, before we get to that interview, because I know that is going to take a little bit of time, we're going to go ahead and get on with this week's match. Like I said, Skylark is taking on Mayhem Julian Marcs.
And welcome everyone to another exclusive for Continental Championship Wrestling Superstars of the Ring. This week, the high-flying Skylark goes one-on-one with the former CCW champion, Julian Marcs, Mayhem Julian Marcs, if you will. This match, already a David versus Goliath type of an event. Skylark giving up a lot of height and a lot of weight to Julian Marcs, and here we go. Marcs the walk up, takes him right to the corner, and just starts bringing those punches right to the gut of Skylark.
Needs to kind of reconsider his plan. He's not going to be able to stand up one-on-one with Julian Marcs. Not strength, not size, needs to be fast. He needs to use that quickness. Right there we see again, Mayhem brings him to the ropes and just rabbit punching right in the ribs here. Wow, big shoulder block. I think the crowd just as amazed as we are. Skylark put him on the mat again. Two big shoulder blocks. The third one, he got him again. Wow, Skylark, a lot of momentum. Oh, Julian Marcs so quickly cut him off. Big hip toss. Skylark slipped the legs, went down for a count. One. This is an elbow drop. Marcs for the pin. Only gets a one. Oh, now they're just swinging down on the mat. This has turned into a brawl. And here we go, Julian Marcs just looks like he's trying to rip off the mask. Skylark quickly trying to get to the ropes, though. Again, that's another thing you do not want to do with Julian Marcs. Should he get into a fight or a brawl with him, Marcs' weight, he's very good at what he does in the ring. Putting all that weight down on Skylark. Skylark gets a two, but quickly gets to his feet. Wow, Marcs just went to paintbrush him. And Skylark comes back for more, though. Skylark maybe trying to prove us wrong here. He's taking the fight directly to Julian Marcs. Skylark, big dropkick to the chest of Marcs. He goes for a pin. Marcs quickly puts his foot up on the ropes here. Wow, quick offense by Skylark here, and he's bringing Marcs back to his feet, which might have been a mistake. Although Marcs, the quick hit to the chest and throat. Skylark's down. Julian Marcs out amongst the people, and the people are not big fans of Julian Marcs. The former champion just kind of pacing himself here. 6 counts so far by the referee, and Marcs is just taking his time. He's going to take all 10 seconds here. Crowd steadily on him, though. Wow, referee showing a lot of leniency here. Skylark still ready to go here. Skylark is bringing him back. Marcs has his face turned to the crowd. Oh, Skylark came in from behind. Wow. Hung him out over the top ropes. Marcs lucky he didn't go catapult you down to the second row. Now Skylark going to the outside. Wow, beautiful moonsault off the top rope. Well, we got it too. Skylark needs to keep hitting these fast-paced offensive moves here. Skylark now working it, getting the crowd excited. Write her name on it. That's what that's for. Skylark staying on him here. And again, Marcs very crafty. They both went for a kick at the same time. Marcs gonna get the better of it. Brings Skylark into the corner. Marcs with these close punches. Referee yelling for him to get out of the ring or get out of the corner. Wow, huge snap. Slam into a 2 count. Marcs is starting to get frustrated here. Skylark, rubber legs. Skylark needs to create some separation, give himself a chance to get back into this. Marcs bringing the knees down on the shoulder. I think he's trying to hold the shoulder down of Skylark here. Julian Marcs bringing Skylark back to his feet here. Looks like he's going to set him up for a suplex. Wow, with authority. Marcs brought down all 260 pounds of that frame. Skylark's feeling it, look, as we can see on the camera here. Marcs taunting the crowd, so he's going to do it again here. Skylark up for the rod, and again, suplex into the canvas. Referee's down to check on Skylark. Skylark has taken some incredible damage off the suplexes here. And Marcs again is going to taunt the crowd methodically, hanging him over the second rope, just choking him here. Look at the face of the crowd. The crowd's upset. Wow, referee, Marcs is taking all 5 seconds of this referee's count. Skylark again, just limplessly hanging there over the second rope. Wow, and and Marcs just brought all of his weight down on the lower part of Skylark. Marcs, I think at this point, is just trying to systematically destroy Skylark. He's methodically ripping him apart here. Skylark bringing him back going to the ropes. Oh, and he kills a whirl by Skylark, and Skylark breathes new life. Marcs rolls out of the ring. Skylark seems to be trying to get some air, get some momentum back into him here. Skylark says he's going high. Skylark, oh, looks like he was going to catapult to the outside, but Marcs moved. Marcs looking him dead on, said he's not doing it. It stopped the momentum of Skylark, but it is giving Skylark a moment to kind of shake out any type of bugs he's got going on here. Get some feeling back in his legs, get a deep breath. Marcs, however, on the ropes, just arguing with the referee. And this is calculated by Marcs. Marcs is just trying to slow down Skylark. He's aware Skylark got to his feet, got some momentum going. He's going to try to slow him back down. Oh, Marcs came in directly at him. Kind of faked out Skylark just a little bit, put that big boot right into his gut. Just crams him into the corner here. Marcs putting Skylark up to the top rope, still kind of jaw-jacking with the crowd just a little bit. punch into the gut here. Not quite sure what he's setting up for. I guess Skylark might be trying to reverse whatever this is. They're just kind of jostling up on the top rope here. Whoa, Skylark's in danger of falling off this rope. Marcs looks like he was setting up for the superhooks here, but Skylark could be setting up here for the sunset flip. Wow, he's riding him up here. Oh, big sunset flip from the top rope. And Skylark back to his feet first. He's going to the top rope. It may be time for Skylark to fly here. Marcs is down on the mat. Skylark, he's perched himself up high. He's taking his time, he's measuring out. Skylark with a big leg drop and no sell. Skylark with a lot of hang time, but he came down legs and butt first across that apron. Marcs was waiting for him. Marcs maybe planted for the Mayhem. And he got it. That could be it. Well, Marcs just barely covering him, and that's a 3 count.
Are you following the match?
Yeah, I'm
Seem
following
to be at a
this.
loss for words.
Okay. And we're going to go to that interview. And again, I know what the interview is, so I know how much of an impact it's getting ready to make on Continental Championship Wrestling. But you're right. Let me focus on the match. Skylark, amazing talent.
Yep.
That beautiful leg drop off the top, and he missed. Mayhem Julian Marcs stands up, capitalizes, hits him with the Mayhem 1, 2, 3. First off, Mayhem Julian Marcs, you think you could maybe figure out a better name for a finishing move? Because it's not Mayhem, it's just a pile driver.
Well, I try not to think about Mayhem Marcs at all. I think the history speaks for itself, so I won't talk about him, and I don't want to give him any more notoriety than he's already.
I don't even like talking about him on the webcast. Skylark, on the other hand, was a pretty solid match. I mean, obviously giving up a lot of weight to Julian Marcs, giving up a height to Julian Marcs, but he stuck with him. When we looked at the match live, I didn't think he was going to try to go one-on-one with him, swinging it out. I thought he was going to be using that aerial offense, using that quickness, because he is a lot faster and a lot quicker than Julian Marcs will ever be. And, instead, he decided to go right into Marcs' face, and I kind of like the attitude from Skylark.
Well, you can never underestimate Skylark. He has been, in fact, he is one of the top superstars and has been for a number of years here in CCW. And he's beaten folks like the likes of the Revelator Kevin Toole. He's beaten recently Hayden Price. I mean, he's a former alternative champion. I mean, Skylark continues to upend people left and right. And, there's got to come to a point for a superstar his caliber to where you look at some matches and think, okay, well, if he wins, is it an upset or not? And I don't think it is. He did fall short in this match, but, he's still going to end up back on top down the line.
I'm glad you said the word upset, because that's really how the locker room and really the landscape of Continental Championship Wrestling is right now, is upset. Rock and Roll Chris Turner and CCW champion, the Outlaw Jamie McKinnon. A war is brewing here in Continental Championship Wrestling
For many years.
many years, and you're right. But let's recap over the last few months, just to maybe hit a timeline for you. The Outlaw Jamie McKinnon beats Julian Marcs at Stampede, wins the CCW championship.
Now, I'm gonna go back a little bit, and I'm going to remember that night, because I remember Julian Marcs basically was in a downward spiral, at the time, and he
No, don't make
took,
it.
he took no. I'm not making excuses for anybody. I'm gonna play the devil's advocate just for a second. The Outlaw Jimmy McKinnon seemed to be riding high, and he had everybody behind him that night. There was no question about that when he defeated Julian Marcs and became the CCW champion. But you and I both know that didn't last.
No. 5 minutes later? I mean, not even. When we say 5 minutes later, I mean from the time that show, the last match occurred, into the locker room, he took a cameraman with him and could not wait to basically state what he was going to do. And that was rid CCW of Rock and Roll Chris Turner. He now has the belt in his hand. He has he has the power of this company behind him. So let's move forward. Rock and Roll Chris Turner in matches. Jamie McKinnon in matches. Rock and Roll Chris Turner just went in kind of wide for a little while to see where it plays out. McKinnon goes on a tear because Chris Turner won't directly answer his challenge. So McKinnon starts taking it out on everybody else. Romeo De La Guerra, Solo Jones, Hayden Price. These guys all fell to Jamie McKinnon.
They've fallen, well, they haven't all fallen victoriously or they haven't all losses, but they've definitely felt the burn of that nasty cowbell rope that he carries around with him. And it's not something that I think any of us would want to experience.
No, never again.
And he's promised to continue doing it until he squares off against Rock and Roll Chris Turner for the championship.
Well, Turner's the cavalry. Turner comes running out with the locker room. We
Every
saw
time.
it. In fact, we saw it last week. Chris led the charge out there. He turned his back on Jamie McKinnon. McKinnon laid him out with that cowbell. Also, the rest of the locker room came out to make the save, and McKinnon, still on a tear, took out most of them too. I mean, remember, there was 5 guys in that ring, and McKinnon walked to the back. That's how angry McKinnon is. It's just, that's adrenaline.
It's not even so much what he does to the other wrestlers. He's decided to take things to a whole nother level and take it personal with the fans. You know, they're the folks that pay to come and see us. They're the ones that watch the webcast. You fans are the ones that make us who we are, and we couldn't thank you enough. And of course, I'm speaking of one particular incident recently where Rock and Roll Chris Turner had a special young man at one of our recent events in Hilliard, Florida. Connor Bennett, the young man who's going through some serious medical issues right now. Chris was making him feel good. He came out and he acknowledged him in the crowd, and the crowd was really excited about it for him, and all of us were. But Jamie McKinnon, being the outlaw, he had something to say about that, and he came out and he had some very unkind words. Now, we showed that recently on Superstars, and I don't think we need to re-air it, but Jamie McKinnon made it perfectly clear that he doesn't care about the fans. He doesn't care about the locker room.
Nope.
He sure as crap does not care about Rock and Roll Chris Turner, and we all know that's his biggest target. And it's definitely wearing thin on Rock and Roll Chris Turner's patience, and I think that's where your interview comes into play.
Yeah, so, I mean, we talked to Chris before, and Chris had kind of made a statement that he doesn't want another war with Jamie McKinnon. And we kind of took that as, you know, just, we're going to step back. He doesn't want to get into another knockdown, drag-out type of a fight with McKinnon because, again, they've been here both for over 20 years. They both have, they've seen it all, they've done it all, and they've hit each other with everything in the locker room. But at some point, and as we stated, Chris has to kind of take this by the reins. And we finally caught up with Rock and Roll Chris Turner. He actually
You
gave
did.
us, I did. Well, he gave us a few minutes of his time, and I'm just going to tell you, we're going to go to this interview, but...
Set it up, my friend. It's your time.
Well, Rock and Roll Chris Turner sat down with me for a recent interview, and this is not an announcement you're going to want to miss. Rock and Roll Chris Turner, thank you for meeting with us today. Now, this is
Thank you.
This is going to be an exclusive for CC Wrestling and Superstars of the Ring. First off, Jamie McKinnon, since winning the world title from Julian Marcs, has made it his #1 goal to put you out of Continental Championship Wrestling.
Well, let me start from not the beginning, but the beginning of this series, I guess. Jamie McKinnon, when he came back from his injury, he was out for a couple of years with his injury. When he came back, he had a goal in mind, and that goal was once again to start a feud with me. And I don't really know why. He won the championship, and as you and Blitz brought light to, he's actually coming after me. And I made a statement a while back, a few weeks ago, and I think people misunderstood it. Jamie was saying it was because I was yelling. What I said was, I don't think either one of us in our careers right now want to get involved in this. You know, Craig, you've seen it. Many of the fans seen it. For 25 years, me and Jamie has fought. We've fought from Puerto Rico to Las Vegas, everywhere. And it does neither one of us any good to start it at this point in our careers. Because he knows, as well as I do, that if we start this feud over, that this could very well be the end of one of our careers. When he come out there in Hilliard, he stepped across that line. And the thing about Jamie, he's very smart. He knows what buttons to push, what lines to cross. And he did that in Hilliard. And when he did that, I went in the back and I was angry. I was very angry that he would bring innocent people into it like a 7-year-old kid. He brought them into it, and I went in the back and I sat there and thought. And I know Jamie McKinnon will not stop. So it's gotten to the point, Jamie McKinnon has crossed that point. Throw the title out. Right at this point, that title really ain't the big story. The big story is Jamie McKinnon, Chris Turner, once again, and we have to end it. So I'm going to talk straight to Jamie for just a minute. Jamie McKinnon, you wanted to bring this back. You wanted to take this feud to the next level. I say we do it. I say we take 25 years worth of beating each other's brains in and we end it. We end it right here where it started in CCW. Jamie McKinnon, you'll never back down from a challenge. And I'm telling you this, me, you, one more time, let's put it all on the line. I'm not talking about the titles. Let's put reputation. Let's put our careers, our livelihoods on the line. Jamie McKinnon, Chris Turner, one more time, career versus career.
That's a big challenge. Career versus career. One of you will be gone. Potentially both of you could end each other's careers. I mean, neither of you may walk away from this.
Craig, at this point, you know as well as I do that things went on long enough. It's not going to end until one of us ends it. And that's not going to happen because neither one of us is going to walk away willingly. So, Jamie, if you're the man you say you are, let's do it career versus career.
Wow.
I told you it was a good interview.
No, it wasn't so much that it was a great interview, and I'll give you credit where it's due, Craig. That was a good interview, and of course, Rock and Roll Chris Turner had a lot to say, but he said something that stuck out, and something that he's very familiar with, and that is he's willing to put his career on the line against the Outlaw Jamie McKinnon. I know Outlaw, as tough of a person as he is, has the integrity that he's probably going to be willing to accept that challenge.
I don't know. That's, to be honest with you, I mean, it's really an end game. Either McKinnon accepts that challenge and one of them are done, or does McKinnon risk it? Is the fruit worth the reach here? Because I mean,
the risk versus the reward.
Yeah, if he gets to Chris, you're putting your career on the line, and he fought a long time to get his career to where it is right now. He fought a lot to get to that championship title. We've heard it before. You know, that was the goal before Turner. That meant everything.
Listen, I'll say this about Rock and Roll Chris Turner. It's not the first time he's been in a career versus career match, and you know what? He's still standing.
He is.
So that speaks volumes right there, and he's done it a few times. So, you know, it is what it is. And don't want to harp too much on the subject right now. We do want to mention real quick that speaking of Rock and Roll Chris Turner, next Sunday on June the 7th in Callahan, Florida, he is going to be making an appearance at that barbecue for young Connor Bennett. That's going to help benefit him in his medical costs for the treatments he's going through. And we certainly don't want you fans to miss out on it. It's going to be a fantastic event. Chris Turner's going to be there, myself, Shooter McGee, and many of the other superstars are going to be there. For more information on when and what time, where and what time, you definitely want to check us out on our Facebook page for that.
I'm still in shock over Chris's announcement. I taped this a couple days ago.
Yeah, I know. Well, Craig, I won't harp on you too much there, man. I know it was an intense interview. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. For Craig Young, my name is Brian Blitz, and we'll see you